a video on Italian dry cured pig's cheeks, guanciale? Question mark? Not sure how you pronounce it. Obviously it kind of depends on where you come from in Italy and your accent, and also my accent as well. So pretty straightforward. These are the 4 pig cheeks that I removed from the pig's head, and this is what we're going to dry cure. Pretty much the same as the normal bacon that I make. I've done a bit of research, read some books, kind of done all that kind of stuff. Different recipes as always, different methods as always, so I'm going to go on the way I kind of do things, and then we'll just kind of mix it up a little bit, because from what I kind of gather, we need to drive out quite a lot of the moisture from this, and that's how we do it and we're going to do it in the salting, and we're also going to tie it up a little bit. So what was it, 3 kilos? I need to, do you know, I'm sure there was 3 kilos. I just need to weigh the pork again, and then it's like a proper recipe, and then you can kind of, if you wanted to do this, you can kind of do it at home. So how much did it weigh? Yeah, it was about 3 kilos. Yeah, so like 2.98 kilos. So let's call it 3 kilos. And they are, I slightly regret cutting them down as much as I do, but then I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, obviously it's going to be different thicknesses, so that's going to dry out a lot more than that is, and we need to drive out like 30% of the moisture when they're drying them, which is kind of difficult. So you kind of do it by weight, and just because it's not a uniform even size, so it's very difficult to kind of judge when it's ready if you're going to do it by weight, but we'll kind of have a go at that. But as I'll be doing things mostly by eye rather than anything else. So we've got 4, and whatever 3 kilos divided by 4 is, that's the kind of weight. And then I normally use 50-50 rock salt and granulated sugar. We're not going to do that today. We're going to do 10% sugar to salt. So it's 300 in here. It's 300 grams of rock salt. Don't be using table salt, don't be using salt with iodine in. You want rock salt or natural sea salt. I think it's kosher salt in some places in the world. I hear people talking about that, and I assume that's what they mean. And then we've got some black pepper. Lots of different recipes call for lots of different things to be added. I'm just going to do a straightforward salt, sugar and cracked black pepper, and then when I dry it I'll put some more black pepper on. But what we need to do first is we need to cure it. So we need a non-metallic tray. So this is an aluminium tray, and glass will be fine, plastic will be fine as well, but it just needs to be non-metallic. Certainly not aluminium, because any, sorry if I was doing silly things, so any kind of sugar or salt will have a funny effect on things like aluminium and other metals. Let me just see if we are recording. Oh, we're flashing, we're definitely recording. So we need to rub the pig's cheeks in. We'll do pepper first, because the pepper's not going to sit on top of the salt. So we will season with pepper first. The cheeks want to come away, so we just need to be a little bit careful. So pepper first. There's no point, they've got the skin on, there's no point really doing the skin side, because nothing much is going to penetrate that way. Yes, I am touching the pork and touching my pepper mill, but I'll wash it all afterwards. So as you can see, they are different. So those two came from the same pig, those came from a different pig, so even you're not going to get a uniform size of pig's cheek. So then we want to go back there so you can see easier. Then we need to salt, and we might need to re-salt again every 24 hours. So plenty of salt, a little bit on the underside, and we need to press in so it gets into all the little gaps. And there, and what that's going to do is it's going to draw out all the excess moisture in the, not all the excess moisture, but it's going to start drawing out the moisture from the cheeks. So we're going to wash this salt off, you're not going to eat it. and we're not bothered that it's missing the pork and going underneath, because what's going to happen is the moisture is going to come out of the pork and it will create a brine in the bottom of this tray where all the excess salt is, so it's actually going to salt things through the skin as well. So the skin's going to sit in this natural brine underneath, and we might be pouring some of that brine off, I think, every day. We'll see. I'm going to wing it. I have cured lots of things before, but I've never cured pig's cheeks. So it's a pork product, therefore it ain't dissimilar from anything else. I've even done a whole pork leg and turned it into like a whole cured pork leg in the past. It took a year in the fridge. So I think myself, if I can do that, I can certainly do this. There. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to put a bit of cling film on the top of this. And then we're going to put it in the fridge, and we're just going to weight down with something. We're going to put something on top, and then we're just going to weight down, just so it sets them in a kind of shape. Maybe that's a bit too much salt on there. We'll just brush that a little bit off. But you'll be able to see that some of the moisture is already coming out of. I have seen people do them and they completely encase it in salt. I think I'm all about keeping things on a budget, so I think that's a little bit excessive to use maybe 3 kilos of salt on something like this, when we can get away with using a few, maybe 300-400 grams. It just seems like a complete waste of salt, especially something like sea salt or rock salt, which is a lot more expensive than normal salt. So we'll just make sure we do that. Rub in. We can reapply salt tomorrow. It's going to be fine. So, quick wash of the hands. I'm not a huge fan of using excessive amounts of cling film, because I don't like that we use so much plastic. Certainly in catering we use a lot of plastic wrap. So, a bit of cling film over the top, like that, just to stop anything from getting in. We're going to put a bit more pepper on after I've washed my hands as well, and I touch that, cross contamination, blah blah blah. Also, what the pepper does is the pepper keeps away bacteria and flies and things like that as well. And the same things like chili does, they're all naturally antiseptics. Turmeric's another one. So there we go. So we'll put that on there, and then what I'm going to use, I'm going to use a couple of lids. I haven't got a tray that fits. I have got a tray that fits. So that'll do. We just want to weight down and that will drive out some of the moisture. So we'll put a proper lid on this as well, because we don't want the metal touching the pork. I always worry that my videos are a little bit too long. I always think I should get to the point a lot quicker. So, quickly, before my phone runs out of storage. So, a couple layers of cling film, then tray on top. I'll work out where we got to. But like salted the pork, extra pepper, cling film, something heavy on top, and then we're going to put some jars in there just to kind of weigh everything down. So it's like maybe 3 or 4 jars, just to kind of drive out excess amounts of moisture, that type of thing, and also compress it so it's a little bit more uniform. So put it in the fridge 24 hours. We'll have a look in 24 hours. Right, so the pig's cheeks, guanciale, have, that's not even the way to say it, have been in the fridge for ish 24 hours, not exactly 24 hours, probably slightly less. So they've had a weight on top of them, so you can kind of see what kind of weight has been on top of them. So we'll take the weights off, and then we'll have a look at what we've got underneath. I can see quite a lot of liquid has come out of the pig's cheeks there. So what we're going to do is, this is not about brining it, this is about curing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour off that liquid. We'll pause the video, you don't need to see it, but we'll pour off that liquid. They're firmed up tremendously, actually. They're a lot firmer than they were. I think this is going to be a good one, is this. So they're firmed up a lot. So what we'll do is, I don't want them sitting in that liquid. Nothing wrong with it. When I do the bacon, I do it in a like a vacuum bag, and I'm quite happy for the bacon to sit in the brine made from the pork belly and from the salt. I'm quite happy for the bacon to sit in that. I think guanciale is a little bit different. That it's probably best off to pour off that salty brine, and then I'll do that off camera, and then we'll have a look and maybe kind of think about adding a little bit more salt. But I don't want to add too much salt, if I'm honest. I can still feel the salt crystals on top. I'm just a little bit concerned. I don't want it to be too salty. So we'll pause. I'll pour off the liquid, and then we'll have a look underneath and decide if we want to resalt. Right. So the excess brine has been poured off, and as you can see here, I've just kind of gone round everywhere and I've scooped all the bits of salt that were in the bottom of the container just into this corner here. So there's still plenty of salt left. So I think what we'll do is we'll use that salt and we'll rub it into the top of into the pig's cheeks, and then we'll press it again for another 24 hours. So we'll kind of see what kind of goes on. So just a little bit of salt in the top of each one. I mean, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get out the moisture and get some salt in there, which is what's going to preserve the meat. And then we're going to dry it in the fridge, or in a, it doesn't have to be in the fridge, but I'm going to do it in the fridge because it's quite a dry fridge is mine. So then what that will do is it will get rid of more moisture and preserve the meat, and mean that you can actually eat it raw. I don't think this will be particularly nice raw. I think it'll be kind of a little bit chewy, but we'll see. Everything's just a bit of fun. So that's that. What will happen is that salt on the top is going to draw out more moisture when we press it again, and then I think we'll change what we press it with, because they're not particularly uniform. So that's pressed in there, and that's not being particularly pressed. But so I've got another tray same size as this one, so I think we'll use the same size tray on top. It's just I was using it for something else yesterday. So salt back on there, cling film back on top. Can't remember where the tray is, but we'll just use that. That can go back there. No point wasting the cling film. That there. That's that. Oh, there we go. That's better. So we'll press down another 24 hours, and then we'll come and have a look back then and see what's gone on. But yeah, I think it's the same size tray. It's the same tray as this. I bought two. I generally buy multiples of trays and things. It's just easier to have lots of things the same size if you're buying things. So yeah, so I'll put the other tray on top, and then it'll squish things a little bit more uniformly, and it'll get some more moisture out, and then we'll have a look again in 24 hours time. 3 of the cured pig's cheek. So it's had another 24 hours. Let's have a look, see if we've got any more moisture coming out of it. Oh, we've got a little bit. Oh yeah, we've got a little bit. Right, so salt's still there. Yeah, we can see the salt's still there on top. So that's fine. Let's move that around a bit more. Right, what we'll do is we'll just move these and we can see how much. Alright, so once again you can see all that liquid has come out of pig's cheeks. So I'll drain that off. We'll do that. Do it on camera. I'll carry on talking. So I'll drain it off. There's a little bit of salt I can see in the bottom of the tray still. So we'll keep that, and we'll put that back on top. So there's just a little bit of salt there. So we'll keep that, and we'll just put it back on there. So Oh, that's all right. We'll sort that out later. They have firmed up quite a bit, so that's good. I have high hopes for these, if I'm honest. That's a pig's hair, we don't want that. So, move a bit of salt around. Same process again. Don't think... Got a little bit of salt, so I think that's gone hard. So we've got a little bit of salt. I'm just a little bit concerned about that area there. And that area there. So, same again, wrap up. Like that. Weights on top, well, like that. And then back in the fridge for another 24 hours. Day 4 of pressing and curing the pork jowl. So let's have a look, let's see if any more moisture's come out of it. Yeah, I can still feel the salt on top, that's a good thing. That means it's not soaking up too much salt. Yeah, there's some liquid in the bottom. Right, so we'll just move these around so we can pour the liquid down to one end. As you can see, we've got salt in the bottom and we've got some liquid. Not about the same amount that there was there yesterday. So what I think I'll do is we'll drain this liquid off. We'll make sure the salt's smeared, what a word, all over them. And then we'll repress them for another 24 hours, and then we'll have a look at how much liquid comes out tomorrow. And then I think we'll be at the stage of hanging them and drying them. I think we should be there, but they're kind of quite firm. I think they'll dry dry quite nicely tomorrow. But we'll drain this liquid off, we'll repress them, and then we'll have a look at them tomorrow, and then we'll see what we're going to do about drying them. I think I'm going to do two methods. I'm going to do just bare meat open to the air in the fridge, and I think I'm going to wrap two of them in linen, because that's what I normally do with bacon to air dry it. So I think we'll do two. So I think we'll wrap two in linen, and then we'll leave two without. I'm going to give them another. They need washing in either wine or like a weak vinegar solution. I don't know why. I'll have to look up the reasons why we do that. But we'll get rid of all the salt, and that'll get rid of some of the pepper as well. And then we wash it in the wine or the weak vinegar solution, and then I think I'm going to re-pepper them, because I think I quite like the idea of them being quite peppery, and it will help with the curing process and the drying. But anyway, that's it. I'll drain this off, and then you don't need to see anymore, and then we'll be back tomorrow. Let's have a look and see how the pork cheeks are. So I think there'll be a little bit of moisture come out of them, but not much. I think we've got rid of most of the moisture out now. Yeah, most of the moisture's come out. So what we'll do is, we've got 4, haven't we? So we'll pick the 2 that are the same size. So we'll pick those 2. So we'll do that one. What we need to do is we need to give them a wash to get rid of any excess salt. So I've got, but you can use wine, or you can use a mixture of vinegar and water. I'm using vinegar and water because I can't see the point in wasting good wine, or even bad wine. So it's a 1 in 5 ratio. So it's it's 200 milliliters of water for every 200 milliliters of vinegar for every 400 milliliters of water. So we'll give it a wash. And what this will do is we'll just remove any excess salt. You see the salt coming off there. Here's the bowl. And I'm going to wrap one of these in some muslin cloth, and I'm going to wrap the other one. I'm going to dry them off, and I'm going to leave the other one just without any cloth in it. I'll put a bit more excess pepper on it, but I think that'll be it. So get that off there, put it onto the chopping board, which I should have had ready, but I haven't, because as always I'm winging it. So that can be the chopping board, and we'll move some things out of the way. So we'll just get this one washed off as well. See, I thought what I'll do is I'll tie this one and then it just keeps that cheek there in a better place. I'm going to pepper both sides as well, just so it keeps away the excess. Any nasty bugs want to start growing on it, the pepper stops them. So get rid of that. Can't feel any salt on there, that's fine. So that out of the way, bring out space. All prepared as always, that can go out the way as well. I'm going to do exactly the same with the other two, it's just that these two obviously came from the same pig, and those two came from the same pig. So we'll tie one of these and wrap one of these in muslin cloth, and then it's a proper representation, if that makes sense. So yeah, so they're equal sizes, so it's not more of an experiment. So if I was to wrap both these in linen, I wouldn't get a proper idea of how they were going to turn out. So dry that off. Dry that one off. And we need to put a hole in these to tie up in the fridge, and I've put one somewhere. Right, so we're going to tie them up in the fridge. So we just need to, because we're going to hang them like that, they're going to hang in the fridge, we just need to put a hole through there. So we can put some string, should have gone through the skin side through first. So just a hole there, and that's where we're going to put the string through. Do the same in the other one. Just there, sharp knife. And we're going to dust with pepper. So this is the one we're just going to wrap. Just some muslin cloth. I've used it before in other videos. So it'll be fine. It's more important that you get a thicker covering of linen on the flesh side. So if any side's going to dry out too quickly, it's going to be that side. So wrap there. Like that. And then that'll be fine. Done that wrong. Oh, yeah, because we need to put some string through, don't we? Oh, yes. That's going to be tricky. How are we going to do that? We'll pause. We'll unpause. I might as well look like a complete buffoon. So that was that. Just going to put the nose somewhere. There we go. Push that through. That's what we're going to hang it up by in the fridge. No, I can't do fancy butchers, knots. So that's fine. That off there. Haven't thought this out particularly well. It doesn't really matter. So that's going to go there. Actually, I didn't need to do that. I really should have thought about this before I started doing it, shouldn't I? Let me get that out. Yes, that'll be fine. I'm going to make a better job of that. Yes, I am going to make a better job of that. Right, so I know what I'm doing now, I have decided. So we'll wrap it up. Like that. And then we're going to stab through like that, not going through my finger, and then push this through and hopefully, there we go. Not a complete buffoon, so that's that, that's that. Leave a long bit on to tie it up with, and then just to secure that, we'll just, don't need that, we'll just put a bit of string around here, not too tight. Right, so what you can do with, if you don't know fancy butcher's knots, I don't, so what I do is I do it once, go around again, and it's kind of quite difficult to kind of stick your finger on things, so what you can do, twist like that, and that holds it better in place. And it's just a simple case of doing fingers like that. This is just keep the linen in place. So around again, like that. Put that off there, we don't need all that. So there, twist like that, and then finger on. That's a top tip for today. Hope that's made up for me looking like a bit of a prat. That's that. That'll keep it in shape. That hangs up in the fridge like that. Right, so now this one. So I was concerned that I want that to dry there, so I'm going to have to tie that one in place. That, hold that. That, and then we'll have another one there as well. And then I'm going to put this in the fridge. And my fridge's fan's always on for some reason. I don't think it's a particularly good fridge. So I'll put it near the fan, and then it's getting some air going over the top of it. And then hopefully it will dry out in the fridge. We'll see how we go. I have every confidence in myself. So that'll be fine. So this will be a case of coming back in a couple of weeks to see how these are drying out. Although I'll make a video in a week's time, see how they're doing. I just want some pepper on it as well, doesn't it? Before I forget. So just a simple loop there, and I'll do exactly the same with the other ones. Apart from I won't make a mess of them, like I'm making with these two. Could have just lied and edited the video, but where's the fun in that? Yeah, that'll be okay. Right, so a bit more pepper, keep the bugs away. Then that should be it. I'm sure that'll dry to there. Should be fine. Maybe do another one. Nope, we don't need that one. I need that to tie up. Sorry if you're wanting something a little bit more professional. Not today. And someone once tried to teach me butcher's knots, and I couldn't do it. So this is what I do instead. So we're all neaten that up, neaten that up, neaten that up, and there we go. We'll tie them up in the fridge, and away we go.